Hey guys, what's up? I'm just taking a break right now, working on my next video, which is the carb cleaning and putting in the S3 injectors to do this video, which is 5 things I hate about my Audi B7 A4. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying there's a lot more than 5 things, but I figured I would probably do the 5 things that I guess are most related to the B7, B6 A4s, which I'm sure any of my fellow Audi owners that have one of these cars at some point in time had to deal with. Now let's start from 5, which is probably not the biggest issue, but one that I face with this car, which is the scratches on the side glass. Now, I've got it so bad on one of them in the rear, I had to replace it. So let me see if I can get a view so you can kind of see what it looks like. I don't know if you could see it, but for whatever reason, when the car's sitting outside and dust and dirt or whatever accumulates on the sill, it gets jammed in between where the window winds down and that felt piece, and after over time, or sometimes it's just a little pebble or whatever, and it leaves a huge scratch that you could try to buff out. Sometimes you get lucky and you can, sometimes it's too deep and you just have to replace the glass. I have scrubbed this piece with hot water, with a brush, with all sorts of things, and it'll fix the issue for a little while, but it always comes back. So at this point, I guess the only real permanent fix is maybe to replace that whole molding that the glass like rubs against or brushes against as it goes up and down. So that's number 5. Number 4, which I covered in one of my previous videos, which is the latch on the armrest on these B6 and B7 A4s. Now, this one's fixed, and it's a relatively easy fix, but I know a lot of you guys deal with that constantly over time, cracking, and then after a while completely falling off, where whenever you lift it up to pull the handbrake, if you pull it up far enough, it just flaps open, and if you have anything in there, it falls out. So that'll be my number 4 thing I hate about the Audi A4, specific to the B7, B6, I guess. Those guys deal with that too. So now let's go with the third thing. The third thing that I hate about this Audi B7 A4 is the glove compartment. Now, when I first bought it, there was a slight crack where the piston like holds on to the door lid or the lid of the glove compartment. So I guess over time, from that cylinder or arm like freezing up, which it's supposed to like let the door swing down slowly and not just like flop open. I guess over time it just seizes up, and then from people prying on it and pulling it open, it's a weak point and it breaks. Now, the fix that I found online, which a lot of people use, is that they sell these kits, which is a piece of metal that's angled to the shape of the hinge, and what you do is you first fill in the crack with some sort of glue or bonding agent to keep it sturdy. Then you put this kind of a reinforcement metal piece, drill the holes, and then screw in a couple of screws to hold it. And for the most part, that seems to fix the issue. And you can find this online. I'm sure there's people on the forums that might sell it. It's not, after I did it, it wasn't a perfect fix. It didn't look the most cosmetically pleasing, but it did get the job done, and you really can't see it once the lid is closed. Let me see if I can take a video. So as you can see there, you can see kind of the glue that I pasted it together with. But for the most part, it works. It does the job. I mean, I don't really go in the glove compartment that often, but as you can see, you know, it does the job. And it's relatively cheap. I think it was like $5 or $6 for the piece, if you look online. So now we're up to number 2 on the list of things I hate about the Audi. Now, we're going to go back to the center of the car, which is the position of where the handbrake is and the armrest. Now, to pull the handbrake up, you have to lift the handrest up and then pull the handbrake up. Now, I don't get what the point of this is. Why couldn't they put the handbrake either on the other side where the armrest wouldn't come into contact with it, or either, you know, put it up the other side of the seat, or, I mean, I'm sure there's another way they could have made this work where you didn't have to lift the armrest to pull the handbrake up and then end up either, you know, coming in contact with the armrest, and I'm sure over time it's going to leave a dent or scratch or, you know, damage the armrest. Also, the same issue. If you have a broken clip, you're forced to lift this armrest up and everything falling out. I don't know. But that's another thing that's you know, a small annoyance when it comes to this car. So that's going to be number 2. So that's going to be number 2. Now, my number 1 pet peeve with this car that I've never had with any other car is this thing right here, the cam follower. I don't know what Audi was thinking by putting this or making this a part that goes bad so easily and could potentially ruin your motor. I mean, I guess on a stock car they last decently long, but it is one of those preventative maintenance things that you have to change after either 2 or 3 oil changes. You better check this, and it's not made to be easily swapped out. You know, you have to replace the screws that hold the high pressure fuel pump into the block. You know, those things stretch out. After a while, the thread in the actual valve cover, that goes bad. And, you know, there are some ways around that by getting kits to, you know, to replace the screws with nuts instead. So you have like an insert, and then you can just screw a nut on to hold it in place. But especially if you have a tuned or an upgraded Audi, if you have this, you better make sure that you check it every 2-3 oil changes to make sure that it's in good condition. With this car, I just bought another one. I'm gonna swap it out anyway. I mean, even though the one that's in there looks good, while I have the intake manifold off and have easy access to get to it, it just makes sense. And seeing that we're gonna put the bigger turbo on from JHM, it just makes sense. So number 1 main pet peeve with this car, these cam followers. And there's no guarantee that, you know, you check it once, it looks great, next time looks great, then you change it another time and it breaks within a couple thousand miles. Who knows? You know, it is a really pain in the ass thing that I'm sure they could have came out with a better solution for this car, for a high pressure fuel pump. I'm guessing I'm sure there was a reasoning behind it, but a part that can literally cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, if it goes bad or breaks and shatters in your motor, you know, damage the cams, could, jam up on something in the motor and messes up the timing, whatever it is. I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's a good idea as a maintenance item for every 2 or 3 oil changes, depending on when you change your oil. I usually change it earlier than what the manufacturer suggests. I believe the intervals on this car is every 5,000 miles, so I usually do it every 3,000 miles of the oil. So I would wait maybe 2, 3, well, more like 3, 4 oil changes before I would change this, because from my experience with the way this car runs and how it wears on this part, it seems to go about 4 oil changes before I need to change it out, or where I see visible wear on the head of it. The other smart thing to do is when you change this out, to put a little bit of assembly lube on it, to help it break in a little, I guess, when you first start up. But that's my 5 things that I hate about this car. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what issues that you guys deal with on a daily basis with your Audi A4. But these are the ones that I deal with, and for the most part, I love the car. It's a great car. Looks good, drives good. As long as you keep up with the maintenance, it's a great car. So until next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment below. Please click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, and keep wrenching.